Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Where have I lost you now? Is this fine?
Perfect, perfect.
Oh, thank you. The others have yet to come.
Let us wait for a couple of minutes. So we can start within couple of minutes.
Right, right. No issues.
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, Kusum ma'am. I hope you're doing good.
Oh, yes, thank you. Are you?
Yes, ma'am. Is everything safe there?
Yes, it is. I think there's something disturbing happening in Delhi,
Uh-huh.
and we have to get the latest news.
Okay.
So,
You're talking about the farmers, right?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we have to see what has actually happened because we can't afford to go on the rumors which are being spread.
True.
So let us see.
Yeah.
How has your day been?
Oh, it has been wonderful. Thank you so much. How was yours?
Oh, in the morning, Republic Day was a big disappointment. Very big disappointment. In fact, I've written about it, on Facebook. I don't know why it's suddenly become a male festival. Only the men can celebrate Republic Day.
So good evening all. Now we are playing ICI motto song. I request all the participants to put their right hand on their heart. So good evening participants and Chairman of the branch, CA Fenil Shah in his absentia. Today's learned faculty, Kusum Chopra ma'am, coordinator of this event, Samriddhi, and Het Gajjarji. So friends, we are now celebrating 72nd Republic Day, where our constitution has been made effective, from which date, that is 26th of January 1950, our constitution had been made effective, and which has given us a right of freedom and right to speech, or we can freely talk, and at one time one can celebrate Republic Day. On the other lane, farmers can protest, and that is how the rights which has been given by our constitution, we want to celebrate it. And in the morning, we have celebrated High Court of Gujarat, Justice Vinit Kothari ji, who is also CA, was also there, and it is also celebrated with our past president of institute, CA Sunil Talati sir. So friends, now we are going to celebrate with one more blogging and other skills which we need to inculcate in ourselves. And for that, we have Kusum ma'am with us. So now I request Samriddhi to take it forward, so we can celebrate other day of the other part of the day in a great manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bishan sir, for this lovely introduction about the I'm so sorry, Republic Day. Yeah, it was indeed great. I saw your pictures and you all were looking very beautiful. And I hope the celebrations went well safely and everyone's safe at the branch and everywhere. So first of all, happy Republic Day to you all and hope हमारा भारत का झंडा ऐसा ही लहराता रहे जैसे हमारे कभी गर्दन नहीं झुकती वैसे कभी हमारा झंडा ना झुके. Taking the things forward, basically, the purpose of Panache was to introduce reading skills into chartered accountants, writing skills, and speaking skills, which were thought crucial and pertinent for the members because of obvious reasons we've seen कि कितनी बार ऐसा होता है कि हम अपील्स और हम सब लोग खुद भी कर सकते हैं बट हाई कोर्ट तक हम लोग नहीं जाते हम लॉयर्स को हायर कर लेते हैं जहाँ पे हम लाइक स्पीकिंग स्किल्स इसलिए मायने रखती हैं राइटिंग स्किल्स फॉर ऑब्वियस रीजंस कभी भी कोई स्क्रूटिनी है या किसी की तरह जैसे भी आपको लिखना बोलना और पढ़ना तो हम सबको चाहिए ही सो दिस वाज द बेसिक थिंग अबाउट पनाश एंड विद दिस इंटेंशन एंड विद दिस मोटो दिस इवेंट वाज लॉन्च्ड टू टेक थिंग्स फर्दर आज हमारे पास 3 गेस्ट्स हैं कुसुम चोपड़ा मैम who is a writer and award-winning journalist with us. We also have Snehal Desai ji, who is an author and a business consultant who also was vice president at Adani. And the third, that is from 6 to 7, we have Mr. Kumar Pal Jain, who is a speaker and a very active student mentor at the literature festivals. So this is the short brief of today's agenda. So I would request now Hed Gajjar or Kashish to take over the mic or the mic and the speaker and take the event forward. And all the best to everyone. I would request you all to start on your cameras so that we can see your lovely faces. We can see you smile because this is not a lecture series. This is a workshop where everyone's participation would be highly appreciated. Thank you so much. Yeah, Heth and Kashish, you can take things forward. And thank you so much, Bishan sir, for organizing this.
Thank you so much, all. First of all, happy Republic Day to all of you. Firstly, I would like to thank CA Fanil Shah sir and CA Bishan Shah sir for organizing such a wonderful event, and Samriddhi ji, the curator of the session. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to request Kashish Advani to give an introduction about Kusum Chopra ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. It is my utmost pleasure to introduce Kusum Chopra ma'am. She is a published writer, journalist, environmentalist, and inspired reader, and usually pays tribute to the power of women in her works Mastani, Nirbhaya, and others who dared, Beyond Diamond Rings, Silver Dreams, Altitudinous, Seekers, Sinners, and Secrets, and the recent lockdown reading ebook Rishte. Most testimony to her feminism uncloaked by submission. but her long years in journalism, its sharpened instincts and experiences continue to carry forward into eclectic reading in many genres that emerge later in blogs and posts that reflect varied vibrations of energy and worldly experience she offers generously as a genre gypsy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. And we all are looking forward for this wonderful, wonderful workshop that is ahead of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you for the kind praise. I hope I live up to your expectations. Shall we start?
Sure, ma'am. Ma'am, at your convenience.
Yes. So I'm supposed to be telling you all about something about blogging and publishing. I'll start with blogging. Now, blogging is a very common word we hear these days. Yes?
I request all to kindly mute your mics so we can have a flowless speech from Kusum ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am, you can continue.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, blogging is a very common term we hear often, but I think there is a lot of misconception about what blogging is about. Blogging, in fact, is supposed to be short and sweet or short and sour pieces of writing which are informative. They have come in, they had started off, I know, as personal communication over various subjects between known people, but now they often come across as valuable additions to knowledge. So the people who are entrusted with writing them, the bloggers, have certain, I think, bound rules that one has to observe when one is writing a commercial blog. And blogging appears in every arena of human endeavor. Whether you are writing for yourself and your friends as a personal communication, or it is a professional commitment you have made to some particular organization or person to write about them, it comes with a certain amount of commitment. It is generally falls within a certain word length. So words are not to be wasted in a blog. Because of that, you have to improve your command over the language in which you are blogging, whether it is Hindi or whether it is any other regional language or English or any foreign language. If one is committed that I will write this blog, then it should be only after one is sure that one has a command over that language and that one is capable of bringing together informative facts without wasting words unnecessarily, just to use up those number of words which you have to produce. Now, further than that, first of all, let me give you an example which is held up not only as you could say the pinnacle of short writing, whether it is a short story or a short blog or a short advertisement, that I will leave it for you to take. But this is a prize winning piece of Ernest Hemingway's writing, which was 6 words and a picture, which made a worldwide impact. And what were those 6 words? The picture was of a pair of little baby shoes. And the 6 words said, for sale, baby shoes, never won, never worn. For sale, baby shoes, never worn. It was the poignancy of those words that made this an award winning piece of writing. So that, of course, is something which we all have to achieve. But meanwhile, while you are preparing your blogs, what I would suggest is that first of all, when you are committed to a blog, you have to read up on the subject. And when you're reading up on the subject these days, we don't generally read from books, we go onto the net. And when we go onto the net, generally it is Google. At least in India, it is Google. So I would suggest that you go beyond the first 10 entries in Google, go further down. And that is when you'll come to the really meaty sites, the sites which really go deep into the subject, which you can then offer to your readers. And those will make much more of an impact when you're reading them. And because your readers do not have the time to spend on going hunting, that is why you have been commissioned to write that blog. So you have to offer them value for time. A blogger has to offer value for time. Now, there are other offers which we have to give them. When we go to research and go beyond that Google band into the deeper researches, the deeper sites which really go beyond what is popularly available to everywhere, including the newspapers. So then you are also offering them value for money. Because if they were to go hunting in all the newspapers, then they wouldn't be subscribing to blogs, would they? Whether you're doing it for your company blog or for some club that you're personally commissioned for, it doesn't matter. But there are certain commitments. Now, there is another very valid thing which is going around these days, which may be happy or unhappy according to your own perceptions. These days, there are a whole lot of people out there who would prefer to see rather than to read. When we are writing, we feel that words are so valuable. But for a lot of people out there, words are not valuable. They don't have time to read. They don't have the patience to read. They don't have the inclination to sit down with those words and try and understand what is being said and what is the perception behind it and all the rest of that. They want to see. So then, while you are writing and researching, you also have to hunt for appropriate pictures to go with your blog. Those pictures have to illustrate what you are saying so that the reader can look at the picture and then he can just skim through 3 paragraphs. He's already got it, what we are trying to say. Sometimes that picture could be a video, it could be a picture in the sense of a tasveer, or especially in your arena, your professional arena, it could be a chart representation. You see, charts for some people are much easier to understand than 3 paragraphs that we would write trying to explain it to them. And that chart also sticks in the memory much longer. So, and if we can find the appropriate chart, it saves us a lot of trouble also, doesn't it? It also makes our client happier. So I think that is a win-win situation. Now, I have described it as essence of a blog is to offer information in a concise format and relevant words. Select your words. Don't just write any odd word or then put a phrase to explain it and then another to explain that. It's a waste of words. Use one relevant word, try not to repeat it. That's all. People are not interested in high-flown language anymore. They don't have the time for it. They want simple words which they can read through at a rapid time. A brilliant man has called it, I shrink my thoughts into a thimble. You know what a thimble is? That little thing that we put on our finger when we are stitching. So he says, I shrink my thoughts into a thimble, so that you are representing a huge idea in those few words which you have selected to put in it. Once we have written down the basics of our blog, we have to read it ourselves. We have to analyze whether we are offering value for the money which we will be paid. Because if we don't offer value for money, that organization is not going to give us another offer, are they? Or another assignment. So when we are standing in a commercial world, all these things matter. And they have to be in the back of our minds when we are writing such assignments. Now, you do have two options, two major options when you are a blogger. You can either be a freelancer deciding what you want to write about and put it at some relevant site, or you take an assignment and you are attaching yourself to some organization. Whether it is an organization which is taking clients from offers from a number of other companies and then assigning subjects to you, or whether you're attached to one organization and taking care of all their needs in different arenas. Now, that is at times perhaps a very valuable option because freelancing at the beginning of the career is tough. People don't know you, the market doesn't know you. So they will try and undercut your rate. If you stick to one organization, perhaps you'll gain experience much faster. Because you're concentrating on a particular set of subjects, you'll be able to make your mark a little faster, and people would recognize your name and look for you or come back to what you have written over and over again. So that is how you build up your market value. Once that is done, you can also, there is the option of going freelance, set up your own channel because you're a recognized name, the audience will come back to read you wherever you are. Or if you are able to command that video presence, you could go into what is now called blogging. That is a video blog, which can go on a site like YouTube in your own personal channel. So that you have a dedicated audience and you've got a dedicated platform from which you can address your audiences. So that is what blogging is about. In the bargain, if you have built up your own name as a commanding name in the blogging scene, if you have taken control of your language and shown your command over the language, whichever you are writing in, and you have been able to command a certain amount of public loyalty, a loyalty for you from your readers who come back to read whatever you put out. It also means, I'm not downplaying the difficulties which happen when you're doing these three. It's a long, hard road. But at the end of it, you would have built up your own platform. And that is very valuable. Now we come to the downside of blogging. The major downside of blogging is after all this hard work that we put into putting out bits of information in a acceptable manner to readers, collecting all the information, correcting our own writing styles and making it as good as possible, as valuable as possible for our readers. At the end of the day, blogging does not keep any home fires burning. Unless you really reach the very top of the blogging ladder, the income is not enough to run a home. So this would be something which is your side, along the way, side business, you could call it. But the plus is here that in the process of writing all these blogs, in reading all that material from which you are gathering the information which you're putting out to help others, you have so much up here that when you apply in any other arena, you already have so much knowledge. So it opens up so many doors for you, and it is for you to select in which direction you want to move, which door you want to open. You see? So, and because of all the blogging experience, you see, the whole process of gathering information, assessing it, reassembling it, that whole process gives you a certain amount of confidence, which will build you up when you are applying for making your way through the bigger world of business in whichever direction you wish to take it. That is what I have shared with you on the whole blogging arena. If you have questions, you can ask them later. Now we will move on to your next query with me, which was the publishing scene. Now, nobody has clarified whether you are interested in specifically publishing in your arena or general publishing. Samrit, is there
Ma'am,
anything?
Ma'am, anything that is generic, like if like the CA members wish to be into this publishing thing, like they have written something and they wish to publish it, maybe not publish a blog, but publish a book if they have it. So उस basis पर जो भी publishing process रहता है और सब.
So we'll come to publishing now. You see, in publishing, if you want to publish a blog, either you've been given and assigned a blog, so you just have to submit it to the person who has assigned it to you, and they will publish it on their platforms. But if you are blogging as a freelancer, then there are sites where you can go to and publish it. That is your personal thought. And there too, uh, there are a number of sites. I think WhatsApp has them, Google has them, every, I think, network has them. So there you will find people who would be interested, and you have to start interacting with them and move forward that way until you build a base for yourself. When we are talking of books and magazines and things like that, we come to a totally different approach. Now, we have the traditional publishers. We have, in our times, we have, there is a huge out there self-publishing phenomena going on out there, which all of you must have seen, advertisements on the net and on Facebook, on WhatsApp. We are constantly being bombarded by all these self-publishing outfits. Write a book, we'll publish it, or we'll teach you how to write, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And then there is the net. You can publish on the net. So there are these three options, and I would like to take each in order. First, we'll go to the old traditional publishers. We have a number of traditional publishers in India in all languages, and ditto for English and Hindi. Now, the system in the traditional publishers, especially in the English ones, the Hindi ones, I think, don't take as long as the English publishers do, is that once you've completed your work, or just before you complete your work, you have to send out book proposals to the companies which you would be interested, you feel would be able to do justice to your work. The book proposal consists of something about the book, what you are going to be talking about in the book, the length of the book, and then something about yourself, a short biography, and also a short biodata. I'm sorry, not biography, a short biodata, and whatever publishing experience you might have had, along with, of course, your CV and all the rest of it. And then they would, go through that. And if they feel interested by what you have written about your book, then they may send you inform you, whether it's email or a post letter. They would inform you to send them either 3 chapters of the book, or if it is a serialized, anthology or something like that, then any 3 poems or any 3 short stories, from which they would be able to assess the quality of your writing and how it would do in the reading market. once they have considered all that, if they feel that yes, it's going to work for them, then they would ask you to send them the manuscript. Now, at all these stages, you get no guarantee that they are going to ultimately publish that. Because even after reading the whole manuscript, they can turn around and say, I'm sorry, but we don't think that we can publish this book for you. Because this is because the traditional publishing houses not only publish your book for you, they'd help you with the whole editing process and then all the, the printing processes. They give you completed books and they don't have to give them all to you. You'll get your author copies. What they do is most of the traditional houses have got their contacts with all the big booksellers, your all these bookstore chains, those old bookshops which have been around for 50 years and 100 years. They have got their contacts all over India. So they are assuring you of a good marketing base, which is why they take their time assessing the whole process. So from the time that you write them a letter with your first proposal to the actual start of the editing of the book, it could take up to a year or more, which means your book will come out maybe 2 years after you've submitted your proposal. A lot of patience is required. And that is where, in our times, a lot of people back out. They say, we don't want to go to traditional profession. 2 साल तक कौन रुकेगा? આ કેવું થાય છે? It's like that. So that is where all these new self-publishing outlets have come in. They promise you that it won't take 2 years. It's not going to take even 1 year. They give you a guarantee. Within X number of months, you'll be holding your book in your hand. But that's very exciting thought, when you've just written a book, you're done to hold it in your hands and give it to your friends and your relatives and have people buy it and send you pictures holding your book. That gives you such a high. The thinking of it gives you a high. So everybody gets carried away. I have also. So these self-publishing outfits, what they do is that in the ultimate analysis, it is you who have to do your editing. Because when you do some editing, they will just okay it. They do not look for the editing errors. They do not look for the spelling and other errors. With that fine eye, that editing is supposed to be done. So what happens is that if you are not too perfect in your own grammar and spelling and stuff, you don't have the confidence, or you are working somewhere else, so you don't have the time and you feel it's going to delay the book, you have to pay money to get an outside editor to do that way. So there your cost goes up. Yes, your cost has gone up again because you're hiring an editor and editors don't come cheap. So that is a cost in addition to the printing cost, which you're going to give the self-publishing house in any case. Another thing which nobody explains to you, and it is gone, in the fancy words which are written in the contract, you don't realize at that time, is that when they say that they will do the marketing for you online, that online is only with Amazon. They'll send copies to Amazon, and what they do is they send a chunk of books to Amazon, and as and when those are sold out, they'll send another lot. And that is the extent of the marketing they do for you. Initial stages, when the book is released, for 2 weeks before it is released, they'll be releasing ads on Facebook and WhatsApp. Not on WhatsApp, on Facebook. Depends on, different publishers have got different priorities. But releasing ads on Facebook is not going to get us book sales. There's a whole lot more of advertisement twist which has to be done, which they don't do. And they don't have the contacts with all those bookshops and booksellers where the books should go to, which means that I, as a writer, have to get out of my house, go and meet individual bookshop owners, persuade them to keep my book, and then keep track. कौन सी दुकान को कितनी कॉपीज दी है, कौन सी तारीख को, उसमें से क्या क्या जवाब आया, keep making entries, keep going back to ask them what is the problem. Oh, why have you tucked my book at the back? Please bring it to the front. People don't know it's there. All this sort of dialogue becomes the stuff of your dreams, not the good ones, the horrible ones. And you can do it in your city. When you're going to visit your grandma in some other city, you could do it over there. You're going for a trip somewhere, you can take a bunch of books with you and persuade the shopkeepers over there to keep them. But how many places are you going to travel? And if you're traveling professionally, do you have the time for these extracurricular activities? If you're traveling for business, you don't have time. If you're traveling for a holiday, are you going to be sightseeing, or are you going to go visiting all the bookshops and persuading them? And afterwards, after say 6 months or 8 months or a year, when you go back to your diary and see where you've left the books, how many of those cities are you going to go back to and ask them what they did and collect the money if they have it? If they have it. You see? So that whole marketing process is on this one little head. It could be yours. Do you realize? So self-publishing sounds glorious when you are listening to all the ads, when you're listening to these people talk, when they're trying to persuade you to go in for it. But when you come down to the hard reality, selling books is not easy these days. People want to see, they don't want to read. People want to hear, they don't want to read. So there is this big mismatch, of aspirations, the writer's aspiration and his public's aspiration. कि वो कौन सी किताब खरीदेगा, कौन से टाइप की, is he willing to try a new genre, is she willing to try a new author? So in the middle of all these question marks, the writer is left with unsold stocks. Because whatever has been published initially, every time they publish, they print out a new order, you have to pay for it. Because it's self-publishing, which means that you have to pay for every single copy that is printed, over and above what you have paid them initially for the formatting and everything of your manuscript. You realize most of us don't realize it till much later. Even I realized it very late. After paying a good sum of money for the formatting and setting up of my whole setup, when it came to printing, they said, "Lao kitne paise dete ho, hum utne copies chapenge." And they sent them to me. It's your responsibility. We've already supplied to Amazon. That is ours. So that is a big drawback. Unless you have all the time in the world, you're not working at any other job, you're relaxed sitting home, then you don't mind. Chalo phone uthaya, isko phone kiya, phone uthaya, usko. It doesn't always happen. You get tired of making those calls and then you say, the hell with it. So think about all these issues. Now there is one more option, what we call, you can print online. You don't have to go through this process of printing and publishing and marketing and having dozens of copies lying in one of your cupboards and things like that. You just write your book, you edit it yourself. If you feel that you'd like to have a second opinion, send it to some beta reader. Beta readers are people who are absolutely screwed up in English and or whichever language or Hindi or whatever, not only in the language but also the grammar, the presentation, the sound, as well as those little details, how it's sounding. Is it linking well? This are these extra words. So that is what the beta reader does for you. They will do they will go through the manuscript with a fine tooth comb, and they will spot where you have used unnecessary extra words. It is not they're not pointing out wanting to chop down the number of words. They just want to say ki, you've used two words in this with a similar meaning. So take one or the other. That way they will point out so many things to you, which when it's pointed out to you, you realize, aisa to tha. I'm sorry, I made this mistake. And you would rectify it. Even in the flow of the story, there are these little niggling things when we as a writer get so excited, we want to just write, and then we get lost in the flow of our story. It's only somebody else who can point out, look, you got lost over here somewhere, please make it sensible. It's not sounding sensible. So that is what the beta reader does for you. And then the editor looks for all those niggling little grammatical mistakes and missing commas or too many commas and semicolons and stuff. So once that whole process is done, then you put it up on platforms like Kindle Direct Publishing or Amazon Create Space, where Amazon Create Space and also has an option for doing that grammatical editing for you. They look at all the commas and full stops and semicolons and capitals, missing capitals or whatever for you. So then if you once you create your account with them, you can just go there, put on your manuscript, and they'll just put it into shape page wise, and it's there on the net. So that is an option also. But that would be a pliable option only if you have had it beta read by somebody. And second thing is, once again, marketing is your problem. Amazon and Kindle don't market for you. Maxim is when they're organizing there's little putouts of pictures of books. They would include your book for the first few weeks or a couple of months. And then for the rest, you have to do your own marketing. You have to tell people. You have to be very, very active on all your social media organs, telling people that you've read this book, showing them. And once again, the same problem arises that all of us has got a social circle. But it is a social circle like this, whether it is this or this, it is a circle. For a book, you have to reach much beyond. So it is there. Now, there are people who have overcome these limitations. There are those who overcame these limitations in a very, you could say, perhaps logical manner. But that logic takes a lot of money. You remember until maybe a couple of years ago, one of the most celebrated writers on the Indian scene was Chetan Bhagat. Remember the name?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Some of his novels have also become films.
Films, yeah.
He was a craze among the young college crowd. Everybody used to be moving around with a Chetan Bhagat novel held like this to show them. I'm also reading Chetan Bhagat. Do you know how he achieved that huge sales figures? You see, he was a management person. He analyzed all these things. And management people, that is what they're trained for, to analyze these things and find solutions. He found his solution after the first two novels. Then what he would do is he would get it professionally edited, whole thing, formatting, blah, 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 everything is done. And then he would take up, maybe a contract or take over a printing press and give an order for not, 2,000 or 4,000 books, maybe up to 1 lakh books at a time. Now, what happens when you print out 1 lakh books at a time? It's the economics of size, isn't it? Numbers. The cost comes down to less than 10 or 12 rupees, which would otherwise be about 60, 70 rupees. So he could afford to price his books at 99 and everybody could snap them up. And he could actually spend that extra money hiring a marketing agency. There are these professional marketing agencies, but they cost a bomb for you and me. But for somebody who's got lakhs in his pocket, kya hoga?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you guys get the point.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell you is that for ordinary writers, the dice is pretty loaded against us. So we have to be very careful in making our choices. We have to
Excuse me, ma'am.
consider. Hmm?
Excuse me. Can I just share an incident that happened 2 years back with me?
Anji?
Yeah, so I was invited at Jaipur Literature Festival where I got chance to at Authors Lounge. I met Chetan Bhagat and I was like, Mr. Bhagat, your articles in Indian Express or something else. Like it's all about management and economics, and your books are totally different. So he just said me two things that Samriddhi, I've strategized on two parts. And number one was to understand what Indian markets read. So, ma'am, you and I write on feminism, but romance as genre sells more. So he understood that point. And second, he said, okay, I just hired a marketing agency that costed me 20 lakhs and that has given me everything. And that is how he could achieve it.
Yes, that is what happens, you see.
Yeah.
And you see, then there is these marketing agencies also have their own links to, there is a government organization which controls all the university and other libraries which are all over India. So can you imagine if you manage to get them to buy a book and place it in all those libraries, you've already made a good sale, and you can stand up and say, oh, my book is a bestseller. But getting through to those people, then you are spending your lakhs on the marketing agencies. So it's not all that simple, publishing. So if you are writing for the magazines and other such publications, it is you don't have all these hassles because you just have to submit whatever you are writing, whether it's a story or it's an article, and they are looking after all that. But then breaking into a reputable magazine means that your English has to be above par, totally above par. Otherwise, they won't look at you. And you have to be very clued up on what is valid in the market today. You cannot be talking about yesterday or what you think might happen tomorrow. It is today that they are interested in. And there are a lot of magazines that do accept, but it's very difficult knowing exactly. So if you've got a large circle, well, good for you. You must make the most of it. If you have a large circle in which there are a lot of literary people, there are publishing people, then you are in absolute the right place to create a name for yourself in writing and take advantage of all those contacts to create a platform for yourself. Otherwise, uh, it's a tough game. But then these days, every arena in the world is a difficult task. So we just have to work hard and hope for the best. The thing about writing, and whether it is blogging or publishing or writing fiction, whatever, is that I tell you from my personal experience, it is a nasha. And once you get addicted to it, you can't stop. कभी कभी बहुत खफा हो जाते हैं, I'm never going to write another thing again. 2 हफ्ते बाद फिर वो किताब हाथ में आ जाएगी, पेन हाथ में आ जाएगी, and you'll be writing something. आदत हो जाती है, आदत से मजबूर, you can call it yourself. It is like that. So it is your passion, right? Circulate it amongst your friends. You never know कहाँ पे किसको contact होगा, and one of your pieces might appear somewhere. And it will give you a high, I promise you that. Even if it is on a net, like these days we've got so many what we call net zines. They are magazines which come out on the net. You don't get any hard copies. You have to go back to the net to read them every time. So you've got to preserve the copy which you sent the publication in the first place. So it's like that. So there is publishing and there is publishing. Then there's publishing. There are so many varieties of publishing. Nowadays, many of us writers are very happy with the net publishing scene because they've got a wider eye. They like to see new writings from new people, and you get a chance to put your foot in. I think I've said enough. Now I'll welcome questions from all of you.
So, ma'am, somebody actually questioned it. Kusum, ma'am, thank you so much for inspiring us on publishing and blogging. What sites should I use for the purpose of blogging?
See, blogging, I think you'd have to check out the net for the new sites. See, I was only aware of the older sites. I used to write on one called bology.com. In fact, I've got a huge collection over there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they were more into serious writing. I used to send them detailed articles and things like that. And they would carry. I used to send them poetry, they would carry that. And there is a lot of discussion over there. Various authors are writing their views on possibly the same subject. So that would inspire discussion. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, NDTV had an NDTV writing group. Then most of these major newspapers and publications, they have those. Now, if you are looking for something like that, then I think you should look at the net scenes. The net scenes do have such places where you can send in your work. The most well-known net scenes, I can give you a few names. There is Muse India. Then there is Literary Yard. There is the Bombay Review. There is the Bangalore Review. There's the Kolkata Review. There's the Hyderabad Review. So they are a whole lot of them. Every city has a review, but basically we are all treading the same ground. There is another one called the Little Magazine. If you look up any one of these and ask for more blogging sites, you'll get them off Google. There's a whole range of them. So I would suggest you read a little bit about each and see which one your writing fits into. You see, because if you're trying to introduce a totally different vision, then they probably may not take it. But if there are other writers who are writing that and you've got something new to offer on that subject, they would grab it.
Ma'am, we also have another question from speaker Mr. Panchal. He wants to seek answer. Is it suitable for us to go for publishing and publishing? So can you please write down?
Publishing? You want to publish it yourself?
So can you please?
That is, it's like self-publishing. What you can do also is, at the local level, like in Ahmedabad, we've got publishers who print a book and give it to you. they'll format the whole thing. You have to have extra pages, then the title page and page behind where certain amount of information has to be given. That's legal, plus your copyright and everything. Then the page for their dedication, the page for the preface or for the forward, then the list of contents. You see, they do all that setting up, and they'll print it. You'll get the books in your hand from somebody in Ahmedabad. But then marketing is not their this thing. Right? They don't take the responsibility for marketing. You'll really have to hunt for somebody who's prepared to accept the responsibility for marketing. When we were doing Altitudinous, our book Altitudinous has not been written by me alone.
It's an anthology.
Yes, it's a collaborative. It's not an anthology. It's a collaborative. 10 of us together wrote one novel, and it's a thriller. So you can imagine, I mean, it was 3 whole years we spent, because imagine 10 creative minds, how much we have fought, how much we have made up. All that was an experience, But ultimately the book took shape and it came out. And we had it printed right here in Ahmedabad. It was formatted for us by one person. It was printed somewhere else. And then we got the pleasure of holding that book in our hands. I'll show it to you. I've got it right here.
Yeah, ma'am, I've read Altitudinous. We were together at Gujarat Literature Festival for this.
Yes.
Yeah, you had a session before mine.
Right.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yes.
Yeah.
So, this is also one form of publishing where you can do it. You can find some publisher who's publishing in English, who will accept the responsibility and ensure that you get a book in your hand. He helped us to design this cover. He prepared, we had to do the writing, but he prepared this whole format, plus all these inside pages, which come first.
Yeah. The preface, the
signatures of all
dedication,
my
the prologue.
co-writers. You have to have the author's note.
Yeah.
And then
Copyright statement.
And dedication and all that. They do all that. They print it for you. They put the cover on everything. But marketing again becomes a problem. You see,
So,
10 of us, we were 10 of us. We put it into the local stores. We took it into whichever festivals were being held, not only here, but at Rajkot, Baroda, all these places. Any of our members who was traveling to any other part of India, we would give them copies, to take there. But the thing is, you see, like one of our members was going to Indore. So she took copies with her and placed them with a local store. She asked, obviously, her host, and they took her to a local store and she placed the copies with them. But then, whenever you ring up, they don't reply. So, who's going to go all the way to Indore just to find out, You understand?
Yeah.
It doesn't become economical at all.
Yeah, true. That is true.
So you just keep them there in the hope कि भाई कोई तो पढ़ेगा और याद रखेगा या किसी से बात करेगा कि मैंने फलान किताब पढ़ी थी और उसमें बहुत मजा आया था मेरे को. You see, that is the only satisfaction we can get from it.
True.
So one has to consider all these angles.
Ma'am, we got another question. How to mark the prices of your books? So once it is published, तो prices कैसे decide करते हैं?
You see, that is something which your publisher only will guide you. Generally, what happens is they take the whole cost, the cost of preparing the book for publication, all the processes. With that, they add, once they've formatted it, they know how many pages it's going to be. So the cost of the paper plus the cost of the cover, because the cover is always heavier, so that paper is more costly. And also the printing of that paper would be in color. So they've got all those costings with them. And then plus whatever is there, this thing profit on it, that is one part of the cost. Then transport is the second part of the cost. Then whichever shopkeeper you give it to, he takes 40% of the price. So
Yeah.
that is added, and what is left is yours,
Mm.
which is usually a very small amount.
That is true. That is true.
Yes.
Ma'am,
And
one more question. Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, I just cut out. I'm so sorry. I'm so
so
sorry.
what I wanted to tell you is with the traditional publishers, generally what happens is that they don't tell you all these costs. They just say that, look, you're a new publisher or you're a new writer, so we'll give you say maybe about 10% royalty.
Mm.
Or if you have got a big name in the market already, you are a very social person, you've appeared on the social media and all that, so maybe 50% or 20%, 18% maybe. 20% would be for somebody who really known in social media.
Mm.
And then once you make a name, of course, then it goes up. They might even give you a writing advance. You know, when you announce I'm writing this book, they might give you an advance. But that is only for the top of the cream, you know. So that is how it is. If the traditional publisher is doing it, then the price is not in your hands. They will decide and they will do it. We just get royalty. But when it is self-published, then we have, you know, the printers give you 3, 4 options. कि ऐसे होगा with this quality of paper. This quality of paper would be this much, and this is what you'll be getting. And generally, you get your royalty checks after 6 months.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So, ma'am, there was the last question from Mr. Shah.
Mhm.
He or she is looking. The person writes management and taxation.
Mhm.
Uh, 8 seconds. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So yeah, the question was, dear Kusum ma'am, I write management and taxation blogs. Which are the newspapers where I can send across my blogs to?
Economic Times.
Ma'am, how can somebody reach them?
Well, they just try, apply. Unless you've got, you know, somebody, you know, some journalist or somebody who's working there. So otherwise, you keep trying, send them your blogs, and if they approve of one, they'll let you know. Similarly, there are other economic magazines and newspapers. You'll have to just go through the whole list and see where you can fit in. It is there is no you know, fixed place. Even these so-called taxation magazines, I know that there are a number. I'm sorry, I can't guide you on the names, but I've seen them. Magazines hai, newspapers hai, and then there are these, you know, like tabloid types also, which focus only on economic issues. So you'll have to gather the names and possibly, you know, at some bookstore or at the railway station, which is the best source for all these. Stand there and take down the you know, publication office and number and all that, and you can send them. Unless you have got contacts who can put you through directly, it is a question of circulating what you have written and making sure that, you know, it's of a quality which will catch the eye and get you a place in the print edition or in their net edition, whatever, virtual editions, taxation. And Economic Times is the best bet. But then you see, Indian Express has their own sections. Times has their own sections. Hindustan Times has a lot of pages devoted to economic issues. Hindu has a lot also. Deccan Herald has a lot. Malaya Manorama, no, they don't have so much. They have a lot, but it's in Malayalam. So I don't know if you can know Malayalam well enough to be able to write in that. Telegraph, there are a whole lot of publications. It depends on your language. And at the initial stages, you have to do all this legwork, of trying to get in. Once you are in, then you automatically stay there and you build up contacts which enable you to widen your circle. And that makes life a little easier. Yes? Yes,
If you
Sonia?
have any further questions, you can write me down, or maybe in the chat box that is available in this meeting.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Ma'am, Nishant Thakkar has to say, really enjoyed the lecture, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
How many of you
Miss,
are out there?
sorry, ma'am.
How many of you are out there?
Ma'am, there are 83 of us.
Oh, wow, that's quite a lot.
Yeah. And Miss,
Oh, well, I've been writing since I was in school. I had a wonderful English teacher when I was in school, and she really honed my writing skills. And after that, I never stopped. I spent 25 years as a journalist. And then I just decided that I've had enough of journalism and I want to do some creative writing. And that is when my first book happened, Beyond Diamond Rings, which my children call it my tribute to my maternal family, which I had abandoned to marry a man following my own heart. Because I was born a Sindhi, but I married a Punjab. And after that, it's been writing all the way blogs, translations, editings, novels, articles, booklets. I still write. These days, I'm creating my family tree. Yes, anything more?
Cable Shah just thanked you for this wonderful session, ma'am.
Most welcome. I hope I've been of help to all of you. A little clarity on what would happen if you choose on a writing career exclusively. Otherwise, you can marry it with whatever you are doing, and then it won't sound so risky.
No, ma'am, thank you so much for your insights, and it has been wonderful. I would now request Kashish Advani to give the formal vote of thanks. Hello, Kashish. Okay, maybe Hate, you can proceed with the.
Yes.
Acha, okay, yeah.
Hello. Thank you, Samriddhi ma'am. Uh, and I'm sorry for the technical glitch. Indeed,
Don't be.
yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, learning to write may be a part of learning to read. For all I could gather today, writing comes out of a superior devotion to reading. I, Kashish Advani, on behalf of ICI branch of Ahmedabad and Vikasa Ahmedabad, would like to thank Kusum Chopra ma'am for such an amazing session. From writing a blog to options for publishing, we all have taken a lot of things from today's session, like coming out of the Google knows everything perception, and to put in more input for our own blogs and our own views. And when it comes to publishing, the pros and cons of all the modes of publishing, and if patience is the key, then conventional mode is a good option, along with Amazon marketing, which was really an eye opener. and something to always look out for, reaching beyond our social circle when it comes to marketing. And last but not the least, the pricing of books, which was really extremely important. As chartered accountants, we always and pursuing this course, we always look out for the cost and revenue bases and forms. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was such an enlightening session. We all were making notes throughout and keeping in mind the points that you shared with us today. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're most welcome, Ms. Advani, and all the rest of you. I enjoyed myself talking to all of you, even though I couldn't see all of you, which would have been a bigger pleasure. Because in these COVID times, you want to see a human face. You're tired of speaking to a screen. And it's always wonderful to be interacting with younger people. I wish that I could have heard more from you, because it's never too late to learn, is it? I would have learned a lot from you also. I hope next time there is more interaction. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. We'll take this thing forward also.
Yes, please do that. It would
Thank
be
you
more
so much.
fun. Thank you, Samriddhi.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us, and thank you so much for this enlightenment.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, ma'am. So now we'll proceed with hate, taking things forward. But I would request everyone to please kindly switch on their cameras. So as Kusum ma'am said, during these tough times, it is very pertinent to see human faces, maybe virtually. But I would sincerely request everybody to switch on their cameras. And let's take things forward, because next we have lined up, next we have Shri Snehal Desai ji, who will be taking up the session forward. Yeah, please, everyone, along with Radha and Alicia and Sachin and Ashwin Kumar ji, please show your pretty faces. Yes, Heth, you can take things forward. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, welcome you. Welcome you, sir. Snehal Desai, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Uh, Snehal Desai, sir, is the author and a business consultant, student mentor, and above all, motivator and life coach. Sir has a author of a book named Paradox of Talent. Sir worked in a diversified sector like venture capital, part energy, particularly in exploration and production, and PNG and CNG. Sir has also been a visiting faculty at Institute of like IIM Ahmedabad, Entrepreneurship Development Institute of India, the Nirma Institute of Management, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Institute of Company Secretaries of India, and many more. Snehal Desai sir is also a corporate trainer who has conducted more than 1,000 open sessions and speeches and mentored 80,000 plus professionals. Sir has freelanced as a writer for a national daily, trained teachers and counselors more than 2,000 students pertaining career guidance and mentoring, advising and building a startup entrepreneurship and sustainable organization development are Sir's forte and areas where Sir has left a significant impact. Besides the interest in the academic and business areas, Snehal Desai sir has a penchant for music too. He has formed Blood Brother, a rock metal band where Sir plays the guitar. It's an honor for all of us to have you with all sir with all sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for such a good introduction. Was it mine?
Sir,
Go
absolutely
ahead.
yours. Sir, absolutely yours.
Okay. Somebody.
Rather exclusively, sir.
Okay, pleasure. So, how we want to proceed? What? How you are going to conduct this session?
So we'd like to have insights from your side of why reading is important, how we can achieve reading, like effectively reading कैसे कर सकते हैं, क्यों ज़रूरी है, और क्या-क्या चीज़ें हमें पढ़नी चाहिए, और रीडिंग की इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है.
Acha. This is a very challenging question, the importance of reading, because no, most of the people, they do acquire a degree. What I mean is they do have MBA as a degree, chartered accountant as a degree, doctor as a degree. But when you really talk, the literacy to a greater extent has been absent, and it is absent. The reason is very simple, because no, degree is a social need, and education is the internal need. And so most of the degree holders are illiterate because they acquire a social status called degree rather than acquiring an education. So why reading? Because reading makes you social animal. If you don't read, you are an animal. If you read, you are a social animal. And if you honestly ask me, my professional growth has been attributed to two things. One, I have done lots of mistakes and errors. And second is I have read a lot. I had when I became an MBA, I had a boss called Mr. Vishnu Vashne, late Sri Vishnu Vashne. I was working within a company called Gujarat Venture Finance Limited, GVFL, where he was my boss. And he was a very voracious reader. So till MBA, I was not reading. But my first promotion was due to reading. So by mistake, I went to British Library and I brought two books on a venture capital, which was lying on my table. And my MD, Mr. Vishnu Vashne, was taking a round to the office, and he came on my table and he found those books and he asked me a question. Who got this book? I said, sir, I got. From where you got this book? I said, sir, I got it from British Library. He called HR and he said, HR, see, this boy is a hardworking boy. He went to a library. He got these two books. Why don't you promote him? And this is not a joke. This is the reality of life. I have been promoted, my first promotion, because he found a book on my desk. And I said, what a great thing I have done in my life. Why is promoting me? But today, the simple thing which I found at point of time is really great. 95% people in corporate don't read. I repeat my statement, 95% people in corporate don't read. I don't know how many people right now have joined us, but whoever has been joined us, I again commit 95% of these people are not reading. Now, that simple thing which you read become your strength. So please understand, if you read and others don't read, you are bound to grow. So what happens? Reading prima facie brings a very different horizon in your mind. When I read a book called The Age of Turbulence written by Alan Greenspan, he was a chairman of Federal Reserve when the subprime crisis happened in the United States of America. And when I read his book, I got a very solid belief about myself. When Greenspan, who was a chairman at point of time when the subprime crisis happened in the United States of America, the quantum of disaster he has done, and he has written in his book. When I run through those things, I got convinced if he can be a chairman, I can be a CEO. So book gives you lots of clarity, because you start realizing, when you read my Gandhi, my experiment with truth, when you run through the life of Gandhi, you start realizing such an ordinary person, if he does such a great thing in his life, why you and I cannot do those things? But point is, really we are coming across those people's experience. So reading is something which really open up your mind in terms of, see, you cannot see the world from someone's eyes because you are seeing it from your eyes. And that is what normally books brings to you. You start really, for chartered accountant, the must book read, not only an accountant. Right? This is written by the CAG, Mr. Rai, Vinod Rai. Not only an accountant. When you run through this book, you actually start realizing the role of chartered accountant. Chartered accountant role is not limited to the audit. Their role is not limited to the tax and accounting. They are the guy who are bringing a strategic perspective to the organization, which I have been telling to the lots of chartered accountants in so many years. That you are not there to comply, you are not there to tick, you are there to give a strategic direction to the organization. Today, if oil and gas exploration policy in India has been changed, that is because of Mr. Vinod Rai, who have written what happened in coal auction in a book called Just Not Only an Accountant. How the scam in oil and gas has been created, how the aviation become a bigger scam. So when he audited, he come out with a conclusion. And so today what you are seeing, the new policy of government, which has been derived by him at the process of audit. When I read that book, I realized that he's not talking about audit as a compliance tool. He's talking about audit is a strategic tool. I felt it is right. He talked very interesting aspect. He said there is subjective thinking, there is objective thinking. And when you are auditing, normally you are following objective. He said, no, you need to be subjective, you need to be objective, you need to club together. One of our company, which is a PNG CNG company, the audit report, the auditor have come out with a very interesting report. the audit report says my commercial department of an organizations are following the rules and regulations, the SOP, standard operating processes identified by the company. So commercial department audit happened and the auditor did not found any deviation in the report. And then the CEO of that company said, see Snehal, we are very efficient. The audit report is saying that our commercial people are following things very neat and clean, and they are following the process which we have identified. And then I realized that the book was talking about subjective and objective thinking. The objective report says we are following the process. My subjective thinking says we are not following the process, because when I see the face of my commercial head, see, God has given me a senses, and I cannot forget my senses for the theory. So when I see my commercial department head face, I am convinced his report cannot be neat and clean. And please understand, people don't make this statement. People don't say what they see. When I read a book called It Used to Be US by Thomas Friedman, Thomas Friedman has written a statement: if you see something, say something. And I got convinced, if you see something, say something. And in corporate, 95% people, 100% people see, 95% people never say something. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And they have not gained anything in their life by saying yes, sir. And I promise you, you are not going to lose anything by not saying yes, sir. So I told, and I am very clear communicator, unfortunately, because one, I learned with time that 95% people don't talk straight. So I talk straight. That is my uniqueness. 95% people don't read. I read. That is my uniqueness. 95% people use smartphone. I don't use smartphone. It is my uniqueness. So what I have been started realizing, the simple things are making unique. So I said, let's continue. So when my CEO come MD told me in a meeting that our commercial report or commercial department audit report is neat and clean, I again become simple and I saying, sir, this is not possible. Why? Mala sir, the behavior, there is something called organizational behavior, OB. You study subject called OB. I said the organizational behavior as a subject says that I cannot give a clean sheet to this gentleman because his face reflects lots of different things. I'll not give a surname of this gentleman because there may be someone who is attending right now with the same surname and he might feel that I'm hurting him. So that's not the idea. So I said, sir, ये possible नहीं है. So he said, sir, Snehal, तुम सबको doubt करते हो. I said, I don't doubt everyone. I don't trust everyone. See, there's a difference between these two. So बोले तुम्हें क्या लगता है? बोला सर रिपोर्ट क्या है? बोले up to 1 crore. See, report ये था. Technical department will come out with a technical specs, which will be converted into a tender by adding a commercial terms and conditions by commercial department, and he will issue this tender in the market. He will invite quote from 3 vendors. Out of these 3 vendors, he will negotiate and even award the contract to L1. ये process था. ये process उसने follow किया था और उसने L1 को award किया था. अब process are designed to manipulate. And when someone manipulate, you redraft the process. So again, process become efficient. You redraft the process, and that is how you create a sustainable, efficient organization. So that is the role of audit. Audit role is not to say yes, you have compliant. Audit say this, you have compliant. There are process issues. This process, if you correct, organization will deliver a result. And that create a sustainability. That create a shareholders value, which I realized when I run through this book. So I said, sir, possible नहीं है. बोले देखो 1 करोड़ के नीचे के जितने ऑर्डर है वो कमर्शियल हेड को देने हैं. 1 करोड़ से 25 करोड़ के ऊपर के जो ऑर्डर है वो मुझे साइन करने हैं और 25 करोड़ के ऊपर जितने ऑर्डर है वो चेयरमैन को साइन करने हैं. तो उसने सब ऑर्डर उस हिसाब से फॉलो किए. मतलब सर मींस व्हाट? बोले 1 करोड़ के ऊपर मैंने साइन किए और 1 करोड़ के नीचे उसने किए. नाउ सी सिंस इट सेज इट्स नॉट सब्जेक्टिव ऑब्जेक्टिव, आई कंबाइंड. आई सेड सर एक काम कीजिए, आप जितने ऑर्डर एक साल में इश्यू है ना उसमें से कितने परसेंटेज ऑर्डर 1 करोड़ के अंदर इश्यू हुए आप चेक कीजिए. So बोले what do you mean? So I said and I am the one who make a statement, and I make a statement to ensure I become wrong, because see people are afraid to make a statement. गलत हो गया तो हमारा नाम बिगड़ेगा. Fine. When you are making a statement and you are wrong, you are at risk and you deliver. मतलब सर 80-85% awards जो होंगे वो 1 करोड़ के अंदर होंगे और एक बाकी के जो 15% होंगे वो 1 करोड़ के ऊपर होंगे. बोले why are you saying this? मतलब सर वो I'll not give you the reason, आप पहले कर लीजिए क्योंकि तब मैं आपको रीजन बोलूंगा. तो ठीक है. The report came out. 83% of the order issued in a year were issued within 1 crore. So 80-85 का रेंज नजदीक आ गया. So then he asked me, Snell, what do you mean by this number? बोला सर it's simple. ये जब कमर्शियल वेंडर आता है, ये बंदा उसको बोलता है कि भाई देख तेरा बीड है 1,05,00,000, इसको 1 करोड़ के नीचे ले ले, 98 लाख मैं साइन कर दूंगा, तेरे को ऑर्डर मिल जाएगा. इफ इट गोज अबाउ 1 करोड़, then it will go to next level and then 10 question will raise, either you will be changed or order will be delayed. अभी चाहिए 1 करोड़ के नीचे कर दे. तो सर 1,05,00,000 का ऑर्डर 98 लाख में उसने इशू कर दिया, उसने 98 करोड़ दे दिया. Immediately he came on me. That means 1,05,00,000 का 98 में इशू हुआ ना. मैंने सर एग्री. तो बोले 7 लाख बचे कि नहीं बचे? मैंने सर एब्सोल्युटली बचे. And I always make an error first, so someone slapped me. And once he slapped me, then I come out with a trump card. So this is how it works. Because we are in corporate, we are a seasoned player. God grace. Corporate always give you salary, but corporate also give you another degree called Master of Political Science. Okay, so they give you salary and they give you this. तो मैंने वो कार्ड खुला नहीं था. मैंने साहब आप कर दो. तो बोले सर स्नेहल 7 लाख तो बचे ना. मैंने सर एग्री, बट उसका मतलब सर ऐसा भी हो ना कि 60 लाख का ऑर्डर 80 लाख में गया, तो सर 20 लाख गए और 7 लाख बचे, नेट 13 गए. हाँ ये पॉसिबल है. मैंने सर एक और चेक करते हैं. बोले कौन सा? मैंने सर सी द cumulative order issues to a vendor in a year. I hope you are getting what I am saying. Cumulative order issued to a vendor in a year. मतलब में हमने समृद्धि को इस साल में एक ऑर्डर 60 लाख का दिया, दूसरा ऑर्डर 20 लाख का दिया, तीसरा ऑर्डर 50 लाख में दिया. प्रैक्टिकली मैं क्या कर रहा हूं, 1 करोड़ का ऑर्डर 3-4 नंबर में डिवाइड करके 1 करोड़ के नीचे ले रहा हूं. सो बोला सर इफ एनी पॉइंट, आई एम श्योर कि यू विल फाइंड 50% वेंडर की जिनका साल का क्यूमुलेटिव ऑर्डर वैल्यू 1 करोड़ के ऊपर होगा. मतलब में आपने 1 करोड़ का 3 पार्ट कर दिया, 1.5 करोड़ का 3 पार्ट कर दिया, 70 लाख, 20 लाख और बाकी 60 लाख. सो आप तो करोड़ ऑलवेज क्रॉस कर रहे हो, बट आप प्रोसेस फॉलो कर रहे हो. मतलब सर फंडामेंटली ही इज डिविएटिंग फ्रॉम अ प्रोसेस एंड द सेम रिजल्ट केम. द क्यूमुलेटिव ऑर्डर इश्यूड टू 60% पार्टी वाज क्रॉसिंग 1 करोड़. Sir, he is making us fool. He is playing with a process. He is taking our process for granted, and you cannot say because he is giving to L1, he is giving below 1 crore. What is the way out? I said, sir, way out is very simple. Anyone who have bidded above 1 crore, though order has been given below 1 crore, it would be come for your information in MIS. Second, when cumulative order to an entity increase by 1 crore, the 1 crore to 25 crore formula will be applicable and the order will come to you for assignment. We corrected a process and this correction has made organization further efficient. So when you read, this is how it opened up your thinking and that can be applied to you in your daily life. I read a beautiful book called Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. देखो इतने जहां पे यहाँ जितने लोग बैठे ना सब रिलीफ हो जाएंगे ये बुक पढ़ने के बाद. It will mentally relieve you. कोई टेंशन नहीं रहेगा तुम्हारा जॉब का, तुम्हारा बिजनेस का. The book I read, Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. This guy called John Wood, who was working in a Microsoft as a director and reporting to Bill Gates. He was a director reporting to Bill Gates. Moving in Nepal, he enjoyed. नेपाल में ट्रैकिंग करने गया था, वहां पे बच्चों मिले, बच्चों ने बोला कि भाई हमें यहाँ पे लाइब्रेरी बना के दो. So he started creating library. Library बनाते बनाते इसको मजा आ गया. So he has written to his father, Father, I am enjoying this creation of library. So father replied, very good. What are you thinking? So he said, कि I am thinking to leave Microsoft. And father write very wonderful statement in a book. Later लिखा उसने son को, son, the only person you require to satisfy yourself in life is you. So if you are enjoying, go ahead. If you are not enjoying, continue with your job. He writes good statement in a book. Rather than Bill Gates fired me, I'll fire Bill Gates. He resigned from Microsoft. And he resigned from Microsoft and he started creating libraries across the world, which has been now known in the world as a room to read. This is the institution he created. This book is a story of his journey. What he, that visiting card चला गया ना, भाई की इज्जत चली गई. बुक में लिखा है, my girlfriend left me. बोले जो फ्रेंड मेरे को बुला देते, और भाई एक बात समझ लो, you are your visiting card to a greater extent. और आधे लोगों को लाइफ में टेंशन होता है, विजिटिंग कार्ड गया तो उठ जाएंगे. बट पॉइंट इज, व्हेन आई रीड दिस बुक, आई गॉट अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल थॉट इन माय माइंड, एंड आई थिंक यू आर आल्सो नाउ गेटिंग इट. इफ ही कैन लीव बिल गेट्स, वी ऑल कैन लीव आवर बॉसेस. So we have not to worry about. मतलब मैं क्या लोगों को टेंशन होता है कि मैं बहुत बड़ी कंपनी में काम करता हूँ ना, ये छोड़ के जा रहा है भाई, उसने बिल गेट्स को छोड़ दिया, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट को छोड़ दिया, तुम्हारा कुछ रिस्क है ही नहीं, फ्री. So when you are reading brings a very different, and these are the true stories. This is not a Hindi movie, भाई समझो आप. These are the true stories. So when you come across certain books, मैंने एक अच्छा स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा था जो I have written in my book. What a wise does at the beginning is what the fool does at an end. What a wise does at the beginning is what the fool does at an end. Wise को पहले दिन मालूम पड़ जाता है कि नौकरी में से पैसा मिलता है, सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं मिलता है. फूल को 5 साल के बाद मालूम पड़ता है कि नौकरी में से पैसा मिलता है, सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं मिलता है. So what I am trying to tell you, when you read, it opens up your thinking in a very different perspective. I understand. जब मैं न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ता हूँ ना, Reliance decided to invest 1.5 lakh crore rupee in a mobile network. I can run through the numbers because so many books I have read which give me clarity what is happening in the business. There's a book called The Confession of Hitman Economist. So this guy was working within a very big organizations, were making underdeveloped company fools for an American companies and minting lots of money. तो आपको पूरा project costing, project structure, capital budgeting, NPV, IRR, how the financial scam happen, वो पूरा clear हो जाएगा. So that is the advantage of book. Book gives you a very different perspective to what you are thinking. There are two kinds of world exists. The world which exists when you were not there, and the world exists because you are there and you see it. So your world still exists because you see the way you see it, but the other world, if you want to know, you have to run through the books. Right authors, very necessary. Samriddhi.
Sir, also.
Go ahead. Sorry.
अरे sir, don't be. आप embarrass कर रहे हैं. Sorry.
I'm used to when I'm wrong, I said sorry. When I'm not, I do. So it's not you or someone else. It's a process.
Sir, we have this question coming up from Mr. Kumar Pal Jain. He said, how to choose and pick those right authors?
This is a very good question. क्योंकि होता क्या है, when you start reading and you come across a wrong book, no, you go mad. So then you said, I don't enjoy reading. नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है, you enjoy reading. But कभी आपने सही चीजें देखी नहीं है. So जब आप, when you are not a reader, no, you need to go through someone who is a reader and he should suggest you books. Over a period of time, within 3 to 4 years, you will pick up an art of picking up book and title and authors yourself. So when I started reading, initially what I was reading the book which my CEO, Mr. Vishnu Vasne, used to read. So उनके पास थे, उनके लाइब्रेरी में थे, कभी वो अच्छे मूड में तो मैं पूछ लेता था कि सर कौन सी बुक पढ़नी चाहिए. So he used to say कि अपनी लाइब्रेरी में ये बुक पढ़ा है, Snail read. I said okay sir. So I used to read that way. 2-3 years down the line, it was a very mutual conversation where he used to ask me कि Snail कौन सी पढ़ रहे हो. So ये process है. Gradually जो पढ़ रहे हो उनको पूछो और 2-3 साल में you will pick up a knack. For example, now for me there are some authors which I always run through. I love Tom Peters. I read Jack Welch. I run through Noam Chomsky, Thomas Friedman, Ruchir Sharma. So these are Gene Collins. These are some of the authors which I always run through, and that makes sense. Some of the books I pick up myself. For example, right now I am reading a book called The Age of Machines. So Age of Machines has been picked up by me. Then there is a book called A.C. Grayling. A.C. Grayling's write very good. The meaning of things, applying philosophy to life. So these are the titles which I have picked up myself later part of time when I become mature and I evolve in terms of reading. Initially you should ask to someone. But सही क्वेश्चन है, गलत बुक मत पढ़ना. बिकॉज इसीलिए व्हेन नो हेत टोल्ड मी कि सर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ दे आर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट, आई सेड व्हाट इज देयर एज. तो हेत वाज वंडरिंग कि ये क्वेश्चन क्यों पूछा. तो मैंने इसलिए पूछा कि हर एक एज में किताब पढ़नी चाहिए. 25 से 30 में अलग पढ़नी है, 30 से 40 में अलग पढ़नी है. अब लोग गलत एज में गलत पढ़ रहे हैं. आई वाज टीचिंग टू वन ऑफ द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट स्टूडेंट इन आवर एमसीएस, और ये इसने स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा, सर आई एम रीडिंग लिविंग माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टू चेंज द वर्ल्ड. सॉरी, आई एम रीडिंग द मॉन्क हू सोल्ड हिज फरारी. मैं बोला तेरी उम्र कितनी है? बोला 22 साल. मेरा भाई के तेरा? बोला नहीं. तो मेरा भाई तू क्या पढ़ रहा है अभी ही इज रीडिंग लिविंग द मॉन्क हू सोल्ड हिज फरारी. अब ये उम्र में ये पढ़, ये ही शुड नॉट रीड दिस. मेरा भाई मेहनत करके, भाई हमें मालूम है ना, वी यूज्ड टू गो थ्रू बस. सो व्हेन वी परचेज आवर फर्स्ट सेकंड हैंड टू व्हीलर, इट वाज लाइक अ लग्जरी, बेटर देन मर्सिडीज बेंज. ये पहला व्हीकल था भाई. अब ये लड़का खुद का बाइक नहीं है और पढ़ता है कि द मॉन्क हू सोल्ड हिज फरारी. मतलब भाई खुद का बाइक लिया, सेकंड हैंड ला, फिर थोड़ा कमा, नया ला, फिर एक सेकंड हैंड 4 व्हीलर मारुति लेके आ, फिर एक नई मारुति लेके आ, फिर होंडा सिटी लेके आ, फिर और कमा, फिर फरारी लेके आ, एंड देन यू विल रियलाइज कि कार में कुछ मजा नहीं होता है। कोई भी कार पहली एक्सीडेंट और स्क्रैच के बाद पुरानी हो जाती है, तो टेंशन नहीं लेना चाहिए। एंड देन यू सेल ऑफ दैट फरारी व्हिच यू हैव परचेज्ड एंड यू राइट अ बुक द अनदर monk who sold his फरारी। अब 22 साल में बोलता है द monk who sold his फरारी। देखो जिसके पास गाड़ी है, जिसके पास पैसे है, बोलता है गाड़ी में नहीं रखा है, एग्री, बट जो बेचारा बस से धक्के खाते हैं उसके लिए तो बहुत बड़ी चीज है ना यार ये। सो गलत ऑथर को मत पकड़ो, गलत एज में गलत टाइटल मत पढ़ो, और लोग ये गलतियां करते हैं। टुडे नाउ आई रीड दलाई लामा, ओके, टुडे आई एम रीडिंग सम भूटानीज। एक मिनट भाई, एक अलार्म को चालू कर दिया इन लोगों ने। लो भैया आ गए। Human use mobile to get some facility, but then mobile disturbs them. So that's the beauty of mobile. So now I read those authors. Now I read A.C. Grilling. Now I read Dalai Lama. Now I read those Tibetan person, The Art of Dying. Now it's a very, but that's a different part of life. So for example, the book of John C. Bogle. So now I understand. Initially, it's difficult. So you should pick up author very carefully, and to start with, you should ask to someone who is a voracious reader with your nature, your age, what kind of person you are, and then you 2-3 years down the line you will pick up yourself, right? There are very crisp some book. For example, there's a book by Edward D. Bono, Intelligence is Not Enough. 80 पेज की बुक है, 80 पेज का बुक है, और 1-2 पेज आप 5 मिनट में उसको यू विल एंजॉय। ये बुक का ब्यूटी क्या है, हर एक को लगेगा मेरे स्टोरी है, और क्रिस्प लिखा है, छोटा है, 2 पेज में। नाउ यू विल फील यू आर एंजॉयिंग, यू लव रीडिंग, so you will read another book, so you will read another book, and so you will go into complex reading. So you should ask someone who is a reader, and then gradually you should get into this.
So मैं यही चीज़ सब लोगों को बताना चाहूँगी. So I met sir first time in our NCS, जो ICI के साथ NCS होते हैं, and I kept constant touch. और मैं हमेशा सर को ऐसे, सर प्लीज रेकमेंड अ बुक, प्लीज रेकमेंड, और सर के रेकमेंडेशन के बाद I've read enough by John C. Bogle, जैसे सर ने अभी नाम बताया, एज ऑफ टर्बुलेंस, ओरिजिनल्स जो मैंने 4 साल पहले पढ़ा था. तो आई हैव सीन माई ग्रोथ ऑल्सो. जैसे सर अपने सर का नाम लेते हैं जो उनके फर्स्ट CEO थे, जिनकी लाइब्रेरी से सर बुक्स पढ़ते थे, जो उन्होंने अपनी बुक में भी लिखा है. सर ने भी खुद ने एक बुक लिखी है कॉल्ड पैराडॉक्स ऑफ टैलेंट, तो उसमें भी सर ने इस चीज़ को मेंशन किया है. तो आई कैन सी लाइक मैं भी सर जैसे बुक बोलते हैं, ब्लैक स्वॉन हो गया या फिर प्रिजनर्स ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, मेरे को जो जॉनर मतलब मैं सर को बोलती हूँ आई फील लाइक रीडिंग ऑन इकोनॉमिक्स एंड पॉलिटिक्स, सर वुड रेकमेंड मी. तो यही सारी चीज़ें हैं जो सर ने भी मुझे हमेशा से इनकलकेट करने को कही है अबाउट रीडिंग एंड एवरीथिंग. सर देयर इज दिस क्वेश्चन बाय मिस राधा कि आपके हिसाब से व्हाट इज द डेफिनेशन ऑफ सैटिस्फैक्शन. यानी मैंने मेरा डेफिनेशन दिया अभी जैसे रीडिंग पर्सपेक्टिव में, लाइक व्हाटएवर स्नेहल सर से इसके ये बुक पढ़ो. अभी रिसेंटली सर 5 दिन पहले बात हुई, आपने बोला रुचिर शर्मा पढ़ो, और मैंने सही में अमेज़न पे अभी ऑर्डर भी किया है. तो मेरे लिए
you're learning economics, so I'm proposing Ruchir Sharma and Noam Chomsky, because economy में they writes well, because he was one